Greetings out there to everyone watching us on the internet. I am John Welsh, a graduate student of Italian here at Harvard University, and I'm joined here today by our next guest in the De Bosis Colloquium in Italian Studies. Professor Raymond Jonas is Professor of History at the University of Washington in Seattle, and he's here to talk with us today about his new book, The Battle of Adwa, African Victory in the Age of Empire. Professor Jonas, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you, John. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'd like to start off with a very basic question. Could you just set the stage for anyone who might not be familiar with the Battle of Adwa?
Sure. So the Battle of Adwa took place in the Ethiopian highlands on the 1st of March, 1896. And it was a confrontation between an Italian army and an Ethiopian army that resulted in a triumphal victory for Ethiopia and disastrous defeat for Italy. The loss of life on the Italian side, out of about 18,000 men, was close to 6,000. They had almost 3,000 prisoners. The Ethiopian casualties were even higher, probably close to 20,000 out of maybe as many as 100,000, but they won. So at least for those who survived, the casualties were acceptable. Certainly on the eve of the battle, the expectation is that Africa is going to suffer the fate of North America. It's going to be conquered and settled by European Americans. And everything that, one would say that common sense in the late 19th century says that this is the future of Africa. Africa will undergo its own kind of manifest destiny and be Europeanized in the fullness of time. And what Adwa does is it raises a simple but very important question. It calls common sense about the future of Africa into question. It raises doubts about it. And I think that's tremendously important. More broadly, I think the book speaks to how we understand empire working, or in this case, not working. We know a lot about how it works simply because we know that in most instances empire succeeds, at least in the short run, whether we're talking about Asia or Africa or the Americas. One of the things that draws me to the Ethiopia story, and one of the things that kept me going over the years of research, was how interesting it was to look at a case where empire fails. Because it's by looking at the exceptional case that I think we begin to understand a little bit better what was so contingent about the process. Empire is such a powerful force, and the imbalance in forces is so great that there is this sort of relentless quality to European imperialism in the 19th century. And then we have this singular exception, and I think it's just so interesting to look at, okay, so how did empire fail? What was it about the process that turns out to be contingent after all? And I think the Adwa story speaks to that.
Professor Muchi, this is part of the price that Ethiopians had to pay for the liberation, for the defeat of the Japanese at Adwa. Now, I hope all of us know what I'm talking about. The Battle of Adwa. No. This battle was fought in 1896 at the end of February 1896. The Italians, coming out of the Berlin Conference, which you remember 1884-85, which then allocated, divided countries, African countries, and colonized, but not Ethiopia. The Italians thought they want this Ethiopia. And a lot of maneuvers to achieve that objective. And by this time they had occupied what is Eritrea today, or parts of it, and from there wanted to expand and take over Ethiopia as a whole. Now, of course, Ethiopia then is a feudal country. The emperor of Ethiopia at the time of the Battle of Adwa was Emperor Menelik II. Now, before him was Emperor Johannes IV. Now, Johannes IV had warned Menelik. When Menelik started talking to the Italians, he had warned him that, these Italians have already occupied this part of Eritrea, and these are not people with whom to form a friendship. Because what they're after is taking over Ethiopia. We lose our independence. Emperor Johannes died, Menelik became emperor. And he was responding to that, the attempt by the Italians to take over Ethiopia, to colonize Ethiopia. So the Battle of Adwa, as I say, end of February 1896, is a battle to ensure the continued independence of Ethiopia. That Ethiopia shall not be like all of these other countries which had become colonies of the West.
የሰገደላት ውበቱን ያችን የቃል መስታየት ሞቶ ቀደማት ቴዎድሮስ ቆሞ ስቃይዋን ላለማየት የወደቀላት ውበቱን ያችን የቃል መስታየት ሞቶ ቀደማት ቴዎድሮስ ቆሞ ስቃይዋን ላለማየት ስለት ጀግና ተፈተነ በመሰናከበት ተዋከበና ወዲህ ዞር ቢል ሰለምና ገብርዬ ሲሆን ቀኙ ሳለና አረሩ ስቦ ስለት ጀግና ተፈተነ በመሰናከበት ተዋከበና ወዲህ ዞር ቢል ሰለምና የነደደ እሳት ክንዱን ተርሶ ጨክኖ ካሳ ጋትና ኮሶ ሞተላ እንዳገር አንበሳ የባህር አንበሳው ዳግማሮስ ካሳ በላሳ አንበሳ የአንድ እናት አገር ክብሯ ከቶም ሳይረሳ በላሳ አንበሳ ንቃ በመንፈስ ለአንድነት ካሳ ተነሳ በላሳ አንበሳ አንተ የሞትክላት አገር ክብሯ ሳይረሳ በላሳ አንበሳ ነው ቴዎድሮስ ወጥቶ አረጀች ያሉ ሰዎቹ ሲያሙሽ አረጀች ያሉ ሰዎቹ ሲያሙሽ ሙሽራ ነሽ ቦሎ ይሰፋ ነፍስሽ ተይማ 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 ሳይገላገለው ህልሙን በወድ ይዞ ሳይገላገለው ሽሩ በወድ ይዞ የሚረዳው አጥቶ ሆኖ ብቻውን ተክዞ 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 ስንቱን በወድ ይዞ የወገቡን እሳት ካፎቱ ላይ መጥቶ የወገቡን እሳት ካፎቱ ላይ መጥቶ ጠጥቶላት ሞተን ክንዱ ተንተርሶ አሳዘንም ወይ ካሳ ካሳ የቆራው አንበሳ ካሳ ካሳ የቆራው አንበሳ ዳኘን ዳኘን አንድ ህልም አሳየን ዳኘን ዳኘን አንድ ህልም አሳየን ወሎና ትግራይ ኦሮሞና ተጉለት ሆነን አንድ ላይ ጉራጌና ሐረር ዞርዜ ወላይታ ቤንሻንጉል ሶማሌ አፋር ሳይታ ግመሌላ ጠጣት እንዳፋር ተጉዤ ግመሌላ ጠጣት ቀይ ማር ተጉዤ አንድ ገመድ አጣሁ ለመልሳት ይዤ በላሳ እንዳንበሳ የባህር አንበሳው ዳግማሮስ ካሳ በላሳ እንዳንበሳ የአንድ እናት አገር ክብሯ ከቶ ሳይረሳ ካሳ በላሳ እንዳንበሳ ንቃ በመንፈስ ለአንድነት ካሳ ተነሳ ካሳ በላሳ እንዳንበሳ አንተ የሞትክላት አገር ክብሯ ሳይረሳ ካሳ በላሳ እንዳንበሳ ኢትዮጵያ ዋልታና ማገር ነፍሱን የሰጣት የካለም ነው ሀገር ሊያቆም ነው ቴዎድሮስ ወጥቶ አምጡ ቆርጣችሁ ከሹሩባው ላይ ኪዳንን ንሰር እንዳንለያይ ነፍሱን የሰጣት ዓለም ንቆ ሀገር ሊያቆም ነው ቴዎድሮስ ወጥቶ አረጀች ያሉ ሰዎቹ ሲያሙሽ አረጀች ያሉ ሰዎቹ ሲያሙሽ ሙሽራ ነሽ ቦሎ ይሰፋ ነፍስሽ ተይማ 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 ሳይገላገለው ህልሙን በወድ ይዞ የቆራው አንበሳ ካሳ ካሳ የቆራው አንበሳ ዳኘን ዳኘን አንድ ህልም አሳየን ዳኘን ዳኘን አንድ ህልም አሳየን ተኩለት ሆነን አንድ ላይ ጉራጌና ሐረር ዞርዜ ወላይታ ቤንሻንጉል ሶማሌ አፋር አሳይታ ግመል የላጠጣት እንደ አፋር ተጉዤ ግመል የላጠጣት ቀይ ማር ተጉዤ አንድ ገመድ አጣሁ